Hey y'all, hope you're having a great day today. It is really nice here today in Zone 7B, West Tennessee, and it's actually, let me get my glasses where I can see, it is Saturday, November the 18th. I can't see at a distance without my glasses, and I can't see close with my glasses, so I'm just kind of in between. I think I've told you all that we've had a couple of days of freezing weather, probably now about a month ago, and it really, just set everything into its dormancy state and killed out what was still blooming. But since then, we've had really nice weather for this time of year. It's been in the 50s, 60s, 70s, some days in the 80s, which is crazy for this time of year. But I'm sure wherever you're living, the weather's kind of crazy too. You never really know what it's going to be from day to day. But what we're going to do today is we're going to work on these hydrangeas over my shoulder here. These are limelight hydrangeas, and this is probably the largest bush that I have in our yard. I think this year, I'm going to step to the side. This one is probably at least 8 foot tall. You're not even seeing the top of it there. It's even taller. And we're going to cut it off today, probably down to about a third. And we're going to use a lot of these cuttings that maybe you can see right here. We're going to cut these off, and we're going to use them to hopefully make standards just like we did last year. And when I get close to the end of the video, I'll take you back into the greenhouse and show you some of the standards that we have growing from last year. So let's get started. Okay, without making you too drunk and getting too much into the shadows here, I want to show you what I'm talking about with these hydrangeas. You can see here where we cut this one last year. And from this cut, you've got these two that branched off of it. And you can see this one cut, but there's nothing that branched off of it, a little spindly one there. But there was one larger down at the bottom. So when you cut these, here's another great example, if I can get you out of the shade. We cut this one, and it sent out new shoots from the side. So that's kind of what your hydrangeas do if you want them to fill in. Otherwise, what's going to happen is, I'll step back and kind of show you. Again, this one is at least 8 foot tall. If you don't do that, they're just going to rebloom where they're at. So you see all this area here where there's no blooms. And this is all last year's growth, or this year's growth actually. So you can see here, I'm trying to point right there and stay out of the shadow. So they're all the way up, and all the way up these were all new growth from summer of 2023. So I'm saying that's at least, gosh, on a lot of those, that's pushing 5 foot tall of just new growth from the bush. So we're going to cut those off and show you what we're going to do with those here in just a moment. So to show you what I'm going to use today is I have these hand shears, and I don't know what's happened with all my shears, but they are super dull. I need to get them resharpened. And I also have the big pair here to use because some of these branches, they are pretty tough to get cut. I actually have one of those handy dandy little battery powered chainsaws. It's like, I think they're 6 inches, coming in the mail this coming week. So I'm excited to see how that thing works. It's one of those cheapos from Amazon. I'm not going to be paying for the ones at Lowe's that are like, 150 bucks. So unless Santa wants to bring me one, hint, hint. Anyways, so let's get started on this and show you what we do. Probably going to just start using these because I know they're tall, or I know these are big. So I'm going to go down and I'm going to cut, and hopefully, let me see if I can get you in the camera. Just going to cut them down. So you can see this one is a great example how big it is. I am 5'8", and this is touching the ground beside me. So you can see how tall this one actually got there. A lot of people use these to decorate in the fall, and they are gorgeous. So if you want to do that, you certainly can. Some people wait until the spring to cut back, but I want to go ahead and get these stuck before it gets too cold. These little spindly ones, I'm just going to cut off and leave them on the ground. I'm going to come around back. These are some of the tallest ones here. Again, I am 5'8", so this one's not quite as tall as the other one. So getting down here close, you can see some of these little, really spindly things that didn't produce any, these limbs that didn't produce really anything this year. You want to get those cleaned out so you can really get some good airflow going in, and cutting those out as you're working your way around getting these larger ones out of the way. Just make sure that you're going through and cleaning all these little spindly things off. So hopefully some stronger branches will produce next year. So what we're looking for here is, we've got some that are kind of curled on the end. You can see some of these thinner ones. Not really worried about making standards out of those. I'm really looking for these that are maybe not any in this pile. Okay, this one's pretty straight here. You can see that it is pretty much straight as an arrow, except there on the very end. And those are the ones that we're going to focus on. We're going to go ahead and put the majority of these. Some of these small ones, like this one, that is like the very small diameter, I'm probably not even going to worry with. I want the ones that are a little bit smaller, maybe than a pencil, and larger, that I'm focusing on today. And I'm going to count real quickly how many I got off of this one bush, but I'm going to finish up these small little scraggly stems on it first, and then I'll get you a count. Okay, so just showing you what the plant looks like now, or the bush, now that we've got the majority of these little scraggly ones cut off. And we looked for any that were kind of overlapping, touching one another, and tried to cut them off. This one here is, but just gonna ooh, that probably needs to be cut. And I see another one down there at the bottom that I need to cut off because it will wound the bush if they're rubbing on one another. So I definitely need to get those two cleared off. This one here, and then another little one there on the side that I'm going to cut real quick. Okay, so I haven't counted them yet. I'm going to count them as I put them in, but we have a gigantic pile off one bush, and we have several bushes that we're going to be cutting. So this is the one of the first ones. My husband actually, please forgive the leaf crunching sound as I walk around the back side of this pile. This was probably, a month ago. He cut these and stuck them. And this is just some soil conditioner that we got that we did not use this year. And what we're doing is we're just sticking them in the ground. He took the tops off. You can kind of see here the graveyard hydrangea blooms here on the ground, but you can leave the tops on them. It's not a problem. They're not really taking any nourishment from the stems, and these stems aren't really doing anything right now. They're dormant, and so what they're going to do is they're going to sit in this soil until spring, and hopefully a lot of them will miraculously, in my opinion, start putting out little roots, and you'll start seeing green buds on them, and before you know it, you're going to have some hydrangea standards. So let's go get this other pile stacked or stuck and go from there. And these are all limelights here, so we can stick them in the same area. It's not going to be a problem. I'm going to speed this up because it's going to be a lot of leaf crunching going on here, and I don't want it to drive you nuts, but I'll just show you what we're going to do here, and I'll count as I go so I can tell you how many we got off just this one bush. Last one. Any idea on how many we had? We actually wound up with 58 off of this one bush, so 58. And I wanted to show you that you want to make sure, doesn't matter how many nodes under the soil you put them, but you do want to make sure that you at least have a couple of nodes under the soil. You can see there, that's where, actually let me lift it up. That there is where your roots and things will come out in the spring. And so you want to at least have a couple or 3 or 4 of those down in the soil. And that's why I've been putting them kind of deep in there. And so 58 on that one bush. And honestly, I think it looks kind of pretty there. Let me show you. Okay, so these are just coming down our driveway. Sorry about the real fast spin there. Let me slowly spin around here and show you. So this is just the pile. This was really the only place that we could get the dump truck to dump it. So this is what we had left over that we didn't use this year. And 58 off of this one. And we have several other bushes yet to do. So let me go to the greenhouse and show you what the results were from the ones that we did the same way last year. Okay, so I want to show you the hydrangeas that we got off of the same exact setup last year that we did, except we were very ill prepared, and we cut off a lot smaller ones. Our hydrangeas were not as large to cut from, but nonetheless, we had a lot of success. I think we have about 50, maybe 60 that we did this way, and I've given a couple of them away, but I wanted to show you up close what I'm talking about. Okay, this is a good example, and I apologize. You know, you start with the greenhouse and it's all going to be pretty and clean and everything's going to be kept perfect. Well, that hadn't happened for me. So just want to show you this one is a good example. Of course, it's been in the greenhouse, so it still does have some green on it. Not a lot. It's going dormant. But you can see right here where we cut this last year. You can see 1, 2, 3. We had 3 stems, and what we did is we cut it off, stuck it in a not in this pot, but in I think most of them were just flower pots that I had pulled the annuals out of, and I just stuck them in it around the side of the house just to see what they would do, because I want to give credit where credit is due. The idea came from YouTube, from Terry White, and I've given him credit before. He is from Middle Tennessee and does a beautiful job, and he was the one that was talking about this. So this was not my brilliant idea. This belongs to Terry, so kudos to Terry. But I do want to show you that off of those 3, first of all, it rooted, which was a great thing, and then it started sprouting out little shoots. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 now. 6 off of the 3, so it's doubled in density. Sorry, my husband's mowing leaves today. So it has doubled in density over the first year. So what we're gonna do, not right now, probably could do it now, but we're gonna wait, and we're gonna go in and cut these back. So hopefully these 6 will become maybe 12. So if we say out of the 58 off of that one bush, we got even half of them to root and follow through and grow, that would be what, 25, 26, 27, 28, something like that, hydrangea bushes. And I don't know about you, but I took about 30 minutes to do that whole bush and stick it. And if I can get 10 new hydrangeas off of that, hydrangea standards, by the way, have you priced a hydrangea standard lately? And if you don't know what a standard is a tree form hydrangea where you prune it to where it blooms only at the top and forms a tree. Those things are 125 and up. Granted, they're a little taller than ours, but in the next year or two, we will have hydrangeas that will be worth $150 each. I do find it interesting that we have a hydrangea that is actually blooming inside the greenhouse right now, even in November, so you can definitely see the difference, these versus the ones that have been out in the cold. So some of you might ask, what do we do with these over the winter? We don't really do anything with them. Actually, we do nothing with them. We just leave them stuck in the soil. That's what we did last year. If it rained, they got water. If it snowed, they got water. If it froze, they froze. We didn't do anything. Again, these are hardy hydrangeas, so they're used to that. And what we did, the ones that we stuck last year, again, like I said, they were in flower pots and just anything I could put some soil in, I stuck a bunch in. Some stayed waterlogged, some were more dry. I don't know if either were better. We had some that rooted in each pot and some that didn't. So I don't really know what the rhyme or reason was, but I do know that we had some that rooted, and that was very exciting. And you know, hopefully these stronger, larger branches will produce quicker standards for us, because the little spindly ones, although I went ahead and stuck those today, I don't expect those to become standards. But what I do expect, if they root, is to maybe put a couple or 3 of those in a pot in the spring to become more of a bush like what we saw today, and to have multiple stems in a pot instead of a standard, and just let it become more of a bush form instead of a tree. And like I said, we've got lime lights that we're doing this way. We have several little limes that we're going to do as well. Our little limes, honestly, I think I showed you those a couple of weeks ago. We've got some of those that are pushing 6 foot tall. I'm not really sure how much bigger they're gonna get. They're about the same age as the limelight that I just cut. So we're gonna stick those as well, and we'll maybe put a piece of construction tape or the plastic tape around them, not tape, but you know, roping off tape. It doesn't have sticky on it, just to kind of keep them separate in the pile, so we'll know which are what come the spring. But yeah, we don't do anything special with them, don't fertilize them, don't do anything. And just in the spring, what happened last year is we started seeing some growth, and started, just let them stay in there for a little while, and when we would pull out a few and see that they had a pretty good root system in them, we would take them out and pot them up. And that's kind of how we handled it last year, and I'm sure that's what we're going to do this year as well. So hopefully this information was helpful. Thank you all for taking time out of your busy days to watch. We really enjoy doing this channel. If you all have any other tips about starting hydrangeas like this, I know you can bend the limbs over, stick them in the soil and produce them that way, but I'm going to be honest with you, this was so simple last year and we got so many hydrangeas from it. I was shocked. And I know you can cut the little bitty cuttings. I could probably, on some of those that were what, almost over 5 foot tall or 5 foot long, I could probably have gotten, I don't know, 10 maybe out of that 10 cuttings. And that's fine if that's what you want to do, but that's not what we're wanting. We're wanting to try and focus more on the standards, making them into the tree form, because honestly, we may try and sell them someday or do something else with them. And if we do, then I think more people are looking for standards because they're just harder to find and they are so much more expensive. So again, thanks for joining us. If you like today's video, please hit that like and subscribe button. It really does help our channel. We're very small here. We are not viral in any way. So share with your friends and family. I'm not really sure what all we're going to be doing over the next few weeks here in winter, but we'll find something to do out here on the farm. And hope you all have a blessed day and a fantastic weekend. Bye.